Hello and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. We appreciate you watching anywhere or anyhow that you do that. Again, Keith Whiteside, your host, joined by somebody who is very familiar to here with us here at HTV, but very familiar to our community as he strives to make a difference for not only those in need, but all of the veterans. And we welcome back to the program, Ricky Folse. Ricky, thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure to see you, my friend.
Well, I'm glad that you're here. You spent so much time out on the road raising money and awareness. And now, with no surprise, you're here to do it again. Yes. As you've created this After the Mission. Tell me the formation of After the Mission and how it came to be.
Well, the reason I even started the bike ride is because a very close friend of mine who I used to fight train with over in Thailand, he was a Marine from here. When he came back, started drinking pretty heavy during COVID. Pretty much gave up on getting his help because he was denied several times when he went to the VA, whether it was not having the correct paperwork or whatever. So he pretty much shut in and drank himself to death. So in honor of him, I decided to do the bike ride. One week before I left on the bike ride, another friend of mine did the same thing, drank himself to death. So what I learned the most is that when most of these veterans come back, and all the ones I talked to today that I'm affiliated with, when they're in the military and out there at the war, they have a mission. They have something to wake up for. They're told what to do. They have structure. They have purpose. Food that they're taken care of. They have something to wake up for. When they come back, they're trained for a year and a half to go there. But when they come back, once they come out, 2 days later, they're out in the street. So they have to readjust their whole way of thinking, their whole way of life overnight.
Yeah, they have to almost reimagine a new life.
They don't have a transitioning period. So they start waking up with nothing. They're soldiers out there. They're driving $1 million equipment. They're doing things, they got a purpose, and they come out here, and it's a lot of times hard for them to find jobs. And I mean, they go from being this hero, this soldier, and coming back to not knowing when they wake up, nothing to really have something to wake up and live for.
Gotcha.
Especially if they're suffering with the PTSD.
Sure.
So the reason I call it After the Mission is because after their mission is done, what's next? So
it's a transition.
Program. And Sheriff Tim and I were talking on a regular basis. We've come up with an idea, which I'm having visions for now. Day in and day out, I'm seeing it more and more clear. I want to purchase through my nonprofit. That's why we're raising the money. We want to purchase a piece of property, 10 to 15 acres on the outskirts of town, where it's it's close enough to get the veterans to jobs, but at the same time far enough away where it's kind of secluded. It'll be, we're looking to call it possibly Valhalla Veterans Retreat. It'll be an area with half developed, half in the woods with a walking trail and stuff. We're trying to buy a small canal so they can go kayaking or fishing. But eventually we'll have maybe a softball field, things where veterans could go and do things together or just sit and talk. And then eventually the tiny homes that I spoke about.
Right.
Starting with 5 tiny homes. It'll be ran by veterans.
Okay.
My VP that I've just taken on, she's a West Point graduate with honors, Lori Williams, 2 tours in Afghanistan, Army intelligence.
Wow.
She was a captain, and she really stepping up and helping me a lot with this. She's going to help me pick the right veterans to run the place, and they will be counseled by other veterans. I'm not a professor or anything, but I just don't feel that somebody can go to school and understand what them veterans went through. I believe another veteran has to talk to them.
Sure. And there should be some resources for that.
Right.
It's a wonderful idea, wonderful vision. Let's talk about one of the ways that we're trying to raise money to do that. Let's talk about this event that's coming up on May 28th at the Canal Bar.
At the Canal Bar, we're going to have a couple of DJs playing. I had bought a boat after the hurricane, and one of the reasons I bought it so I could take veterans out fishing on it.
Okay.
So we're gonna do a little cruise from 4 p.m. till about 6 for some of the sponsors for the fight we have coming up, and then at 6:30 we're going to dock at the Canal Bar.
Okay.
And DJ Red, love him to death, big supporter of mine.
Yep.
He's going to start auctioning items that we're getting donating from amazing people around town.
Wow.
In fact, my uncle, who's a Marine combat veteran, he hand carved a decoy, took him days and painted it in the American flag theme. That's one of the items we're going to auction. Another one of my uncles is a master carpenter. He built this cross. Took him about 4 days. It's so detailed. He donated as well. So I got people coming from everywhere to donate things. Rampage Trucking, truck repair, they donated $1,000 certificate for someone to get some tires there. So we got a lot of people coming in and making some major donations because to help raise some money to go into this 501c3. So if
Okay.
anyone out there with a business or wants to make a donation, a barbecue pit handmade or something, anything, especially if they want to make it in a veterans theme, we can take it and we or 501c3, so we can give them the paperwork for a tax write-off.
Tax write-off and
After
donation.
14 months of fighting for it, I finally got mine.
Finally got it.
That was a headache,
Yeah,
my friend.
it takes a while. So we just have a little bit of time left. Tell everybody else what they can expect there at the bar.
Food. We got a lot of people cooking food, and
Okay.
some DJs playing. DJ Trashy, Dr. Seuss, and DJ Red's going to be there. And that's the kickoff for the fight, June 25th in the Civic Center, that we'll talk about later.
Right,
That's a
right.
full military honoring event.
Okay. And so again, if you're interested, you can reach out. Ricky Folse's fundraising event. All the proceeds are going to support homeless veterans and for PTSD awareness. Ricky has really done a really good job of bringing support to and getting our community together for. So May 28th, 2022, at the Canal on the Bar, Ricky's going to show up in his boat, bring some of the people that he's got, and DJ Rhett's going to take over from there. And then, of course, we have some other entertainment, food and drink will be there as well. And so lots of good times. And again, the fight is going to be coming up June 25th. So that's
25th.
in a month and a half or so. Really looking forward to that.
We have a lady flying in from the Pentagon, my VP's best friend. She works at the Pentagon. She's flying in to do the national anthem, and we're working on a Medal of Honor recipient as the guest of honor.
Wow.
And we have several other people from Capitol Hill that I met on the bike ride that supported me flying in for this. It's going to be one of the biggest events, probably the biggest military event Houma or South Louisiana has ever seen.
That's a
It's
good thing.
all for the veterans.
Yeah, Ricky, we appreciate your time and your passion and always doing things for others. We
I appreciate you
it.
having me.
You got it.
You've been a big help.
All right, guys, and that will do it for this edition of Bayou Time. Don't go anywhere. A lot more local programming here on HTV.